And it's great to have Tommy Lloyd on the stage with us to begin today, Don. And Coach, welcome.
Great to be here.
It's great to have you. As we're just, for you, less than 2 weeks away from your first exhibition game. How are you feeling about your team?
I feel great. It's a long off season, which was good in a lot of respects. It really kind of allowed me time to continue my growth as a coach. And, I know I'm at a special place. I know I carry a huge responsibility, and that comes with that. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the group of guys we have. It's been fun, watching them kind of grow as a team. And obviously we still have a lot of work to do like everybody else. But I think we got a lot of the right pieces, and now we just got to put it together and get challenged and go through some adversity, and hopefully the outcome will be good.
Speaking of adversity, you've been phenomenal the first 2 years, 61 wins, disappointing loss last year, first round of the tournament. Talking to people around your program, reading stuff in the offseason, you talked about toughness and how toughness needs to be more part of the fabric of your program. Talk about how you're implementing that and how that's going to help you guys be even better, especially in the postseason.
Well, toughness can be kind of a catch-all term. And, I've never felt that we're soft. I think we play a very aggressive, physical style of basketball. But, at the end of the day, you get in a single elimination tournament, and toughness comes in lots of form. It could be, could be sticking to a game plan. It could be obviously the physical things you think come with dominating the point and dominating the glass and things like that. But I think it's important. I think if the first thing I thought after that Princeton game is I need to increase our margin for error. And to me, toughness is a way that you do that. And if you want to be competitive in these games, sometimes you got to be able to physically dominate your opponent. And so, we're gonna strive for that. We know it's going to be challenging. We know other teams fight back really hard. And so, yeah, I think, toughness is a cornerstone of our program. And I think for us to be able to make sure, when you get to March, that you're able to be successful. Toughness has to be a key element of everything we do.
All right, Coach, we may have some more questions for you, but we're going to send it over to Jesse Hooker now, and he'll call on some members of the media.
Okay. If any media have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. We'll go to Willie Ramirez on my right in the front row.
Coach, good morning. Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press. You have some decent heavyweights on your non-conference schedule. What are some immediate things you're looking for out of your team in terms of tweaking and that you want to correct if there are corrections to be made when you play those opponents?
Well, there's going to be corrections, and the reason you play opponents like that is because they're going to expose you, and to me that's part of the fun is trying to figure it out. So I could maybe guess at some of the things I need to correct, but I think those are going to show themselves over time, and I don't want to predetermine, we're not going to be good at this or we're going to be great at that. I'm going to kind of let it play out in front of me, and then I'll coach it in the moment as things start to show up.
Any other questions? We'll go on my left to Casey Jacobson in the back row.
Coach Floyd, Caleb Love has been one of the most talented players in college basketball over the last several years, but he's also been really inconsistent. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you thought of him before he transferred to your program and what you've seen from him since he's been in Tucson.
Well, obviously, he's got a lot of talent, and what he did at Carolina. People have maybe say there's inconsistent or inefficient or whatever you want to say. All I know is this: 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament, that dude had 30 points in an Elite Eight game and 28 in a Final Four game. So there's not many guys in the history of college basketball that can say they've done that. So, they didn't have a great year as a team last year, and he was part of it, and he owned it, and he and I have had amazing conversations about, how we can help him and how he can help us. And so I think we got him at the right time. And, I know, maybe he's been a little bit of a lightning rod because when you play at a place like Carolina and you're preseason number one and it doesn't work out, there's going to be some criticism that comes with that. He knows that. But he's someone that everyone in college basketball, media, fans should be rooting for. these young guys deserve multiple opportunities to be successful. I mean, you know, you shouldn't be defined what happens 1 year at Carolina when your team's preseason #1, and there's a lot of things that go into it. So, I mean, for me, I know this. I'm always rooting for young people, and I can't wait for this to turn out to be a success story this year.
On my right to Cindy in the front row.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. I want to talk about the evolution of Marballo. He has just been fantastic for you, and I want to know what your expectations are for him this season, particularly when it comes to leadership now that he's an upperclassman.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Big O, you guys will hear from him here in a second. I mean, he has a special place in my heart. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, I knew he was going to be successful because he has amazing high character. And, you know, he had to deal with some growing pains and some struggle, and he's come out on the other side. You know, for me, you know, the conversations, you know, I've had with him, you know, there's not so much statistical growth or anything like that, or, you know, I mean, I'm sure he wants to add a three-point shot, but that's not as important to me, you know, stuff like that. I just want to see him continue to grow as a basketball player, kind of in modern basketball, maybe so he could be successful outside of an Arizona setting and have a long, good career, because the game has changed for players like him, and maybe we're a little bit old school in the way we play, and where we really value and reward guys like him. You know, I don't know if other systems are doing that across the country and in basketball in general. You know, but then you're right, it's the leadership, and he has that. He has so much potential there, and his leadership can be grounded in the fact that he's dealt with struggle and come through it. And you know, I think all these guys, these young players, you know, struggle is part of their growth process. So to have somebody who's done it, come through the other side, I think he can be a great example for others, and especially within our program.
Piggybacking on that, Tommy, one thing that struck me in your 2 years at Arizona is player development, and how guys, you see them 1 year, they come back better the next. Everyone this time of year wants to talk about who's coming in, whether it's five-star high school kids, transfer portal guys. Talk about your off-season player development and who this year you think, you know, is going to come back looking different than they did last year, not just Umar.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, one of the core tenets of our program is always going to be pushing the limits of individual player development. I mean, I think that's an important part of it, and we're 100% bought into that. I think our players in our program feel that. You know, at the end of last season, when you're going through everything and, you know, you're figuring out what your roster is going to look like, I always slept good because I was banking on, you know, these guys coming back being better. And I didn't even know who the incoming guys coming in with them were going to be, but I knew these guys come back. And I thought, man, if I have Kylan Boswell, Pella Larson, and Umar Baldo coming back, and they all make the off-season jumps that guys make in our program, that's the foundation for a top 10 team right there. And so, yeah, I mean, I think those guys have made that jump, and I think we've added some really good pieces to it, and I'm excited. You know, I think you're going to see, you know, Pella is, you know, you're going to hear from him in a second, incredibly talented player. You know, he's, you know, there's no doubt in my mind he's an NBA talent, and I've always believed that. He and I have had conversations about it, and you know, I think, you know, he's been finding his way in college basketball, and the last few years he's been on really good teams with other good players, and he's unbelievable filling the gaps in for that. I think this is going to be an opportunity for him to kind of maybe be one of those kind of featured players, and he's ready for that moment.
Keshad Johnson's going to be an important part for you guys. You know, looking at your roster, what you lost from last year, specifically to Bellis, and what he brought to the table production-wise. You know, Johnson gets to the national championship game last year at San Diego State. Talk about what he's brought and what he's going to bring to the table, not just from a numbers standpoint, but defensively too.
Well, Key's is an amazing person, and you know, first off, you know, I want to say that San Diego State did a great job with him, you know, throughout the course of his career, and he really developed there, because he started as kind of a guy that didn't play to, you know, being a starter, and I've seen that growth continue. So he came in with a great foundation, and I'm thankful for that. But he's a very versatile player, and you know, I mean, I don't want to just label him as a defensive player, because I think he's really good at both sides of the ball. But defensively, you know, he has an ability in the modern game that he switches. You know, he can switch guard 1 through 5. You know, he can pressure the basketball. He can cover up for mistakes, protect the rim. You know, he's a force on the glass. Offensively, you know, in our system, that kind of that 4-man is in the middle of the action a lot, and I've really seen kind of his playmaking grow and his shooting grow, and you know, I'm excited for him to get an opportunity to kind of show that stuff.
All right, one more, Justin.
Okay, back row on my left.
Walmany. First of all, Tommy, congratulations on all your success. I mean, unbelievable. I'm just wondering, stylistically, over the summer, have you thought about any changes you might make? I know you're big. I know you have great guards. By the way, a pretty good combination. And I know you love to play fast. But have you thought, well, maybe I need to tweak it a little bit?
Well, I think we're going to walk the ball up and play in the 40s this year.
Yeah, I know you're not going to do that.
No, stylistically, I'm always looking to grow, and I think maybe you're going to see, some different layers that we're trying to add to our system, and maybe play a different way. And we had two bellows at the 4, which I really like, having those two big guys out there. But I don't know if we'll have that predominantly as much as we did last year. So the floor might be opened up a little bit more in some spacing scenarios in some of our half-court offense. But all in all, we have a system, and I don't know if we recruit to it, play to it, whatever, but we're going to play fast, we're going to move the ball, we're going to play in ball screens, I'm going to be on the guys to make good decisions with the ball, we're going to have disciplined shot selection, but playing with freedom. I mean, all the same elements are going to be there, and defensively, we're continuing to grow there as well. I mean, the first year, I think we were a top 10 defense. Last year, it didn't feel like we were as good defensively, but we were kind of top 40 when you look analytically at it, and we know for us to be where we want to be as a program, we need to scratch and claw to be up in that top 10 defensive area, and I think we have the pieces to do that.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. We're going to bring your players in, Umar Ballo and
Thanks,
Palo.
Tommy.
Well done, I'm out.
You're
No,
done?
that's it.
Thank you guys, that's it.
As they come in, could you just give us a thought on why they're here for you?
Oh, for sure. Want me to sit down and do that? Okay. Well, these are kind of the two most experienced guys in our program right now, and they represent Arizona basketball well in every way, on and off the floor. And it wasn't a lot of thought didn't go into this one. It was an easy selection for these two guys to come, and these are two guys that have been great players for us, and they played with other great players, and so I think I'm excited for them to kind of take the next step and be the featured guys, and I know they're ready for that challenge, and they're not going to disappoint.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I'll tell you who we should have brought in for this guy. It's Chris Rounds, a strength coach in Arizona. Look at these two guys, man. You guys are ready to go.
Always.
What's been the off-season workout regimen? You guys had an international trip. Were you able to put on as much muscle as you wanted to?
Yeah, they got weight rooms at hotels, so we've been doing fine.
What for you two? I know you have a handful of new players in the program, and I asked your coach about it. The disappointment of the NCAA tournament last year and how motivating that is for both of you. Umar, I'll start with you. And did that have an effect on your summer in the motivation to get in the weight room and work on your game and come back better this year?
Yeah, a lot for sure, because last year we didn't, finish the way that we wanted to. So that put a chip on our shoulder, and we have to get better as a team and as individuals. So that motivated us a lot, this summer to work out harder.
We'll send it over to Jesse for some questions from the media now.
Anybody has a question, please raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. Matt, on my left in the back row.
Matt Muehlbach with the Pac-12. This is for both you guys. Tommy was just talking about how much you guys talk about development and work on development. Was there something that, for each of you, that you really worked on this off season? I know, in fact, Umar, you've been really good about different things you've added to your game, that little jump hook, the little jump push shot. And just again, for both of you, what things have you maybe worked on personally?
Just finding more ways within our offense, I think, to score, find the right opportunities to get your shot off, and then just playing aggressive, trying to play more aggressive than ever on the offensive end, and hopefully I can dump the ball off to O as much as I can off of that.
Yeah, me personally, I just, work a lot on my lob catching, be a lob threat, and also be a leader for those young bigs, and try to bring everyone together and try to connect all the dots.
Okay, on my left in the third row.
Jay Carlson, Pac-12 Network. Pella Ann, I don't know if you guys have thought about it, but you both started at other schools, you transferred, you've both been sixth man of the year in the Pac. If you kind of go back and look where you were when you were freshmen coming in and where you are now, did you see this, and was that part of the hope or the plan in coming to Arizona?
I mean, when I came in as freshman, I definitely didn't imagine myself playing at Arizona. But, I mean, it's been great, and I'm very blessed and thankful. And, you know, me and O kind of got there at the same time and been through the same stuff. So it's really nice for me to share that journey with him.
Yeah, personally, Arizona was one of my top 3 schools, but I went to Gonzaga because of Coach Lloyd, and that was probably the best decision because he led me where I needed to be. And I'm grateful I'm here today, went through my struggle and found my own ways, and thankful for the program to give me a second chance.
Let's talk about your off seasons. Obviously, as a team, you guys went on an international trip. You both went home, Sweden. You did some camps, some basketball camps back in Mali. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so me and some other guys from Mali, we went home this summer. We had 250 kids. We brought them shoes and gears, and we had 2 days of camp, and it was amazing. The joy that we put on those kids' faces were heartwarming. You know, I'm glad we got to do that, give something back to those kids.
Pella, one thing that doesn't get talked about enough, it gets mentioned, but I don't think talked about enough, is your unselfishness with your role at Arizona. You know, you started, then you didn't start, then you were the sixth man of the year last year, you started, and then you came off the bench. Talk about your approach to that, because Tommy was talking about, you know, your potential of being an NBA player, and that stuff matters. Like your unselfishness and your ability to be in different roles and thrive in those roles matters to NBA people. So talk about what you've gone through mentally in terms of adjusting to that.
I don't think there was any like big adjustments necessary, because it's kind of, I was taught to, you know, what matters is when you're on the court, what you're doing when you're on the court, and I was taught to just play to win. So I've just been trusting that and trusting my coach, my teammates, that what we do in practice is going to get us better, and just stick to the plan and help as much as I can when I'm actually on the court.
Tommy talked about toughness in the offseason. We asked him about it. I want to ask you guys about it. You guys like throwing blows in practice now and like beating each other up, or is it more of just the mental approach, the mental toughness of things, so that what happened at the end of last year doesn't happen again?
I feel like it's both. You know, our practices really get intense. Guys get after each other, and it's so physical. But most importantly is the mental approach. Because me and Pele were there last year, and the way season ended, man, it hurt us. And for us, it's important to let the guys know, like, we need to get better as a person and as a team. And mentally is the key to grow mentally.
We're a month away from your first road game at Duke. So when we watch you guys play, obviously you got the opener before that, but could you, Pella, give us some insight, some players who maybe we haven't seen in Arizona uniforms yet that you think will make an impact that you've been seeing in practice?
On our team? Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys. I feel like this is probably like the deepest roster that I've been a part of. So many talented young guys and, you know, experienced upperclassmen. So, I mean, it's a good mix, and honestly in practice we can divide it into like 3 even teams and go at it and butt heads. So it's been really fun this offseason, and anyone that will get the chance in the spotlight will definitely try to take advantage and, you know, step up for themselves and the team.
Umar, who's throwing that high-low pass to you this year?
Keisha and Pele for sure.
All right.
Well, guys, there you go.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for being here. Have a fun
Thanks,
day.
guys. Good luck.
Good luck this year.
Thank you.
And we'll see them back here in Vegas at the end of the year where they try to defend their Pac-12 tournament championship. Arizona State is coming up next as we continue with the day.